everybody? Welcome. Hold on, I didn't even do my damn applause. Dude, I gotta have the canned applause. Wow, that one snuck up on me. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It's exciting, kind of chiming in with the people over on TikTok. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome to the end of your week, the beginning of the weekend. Recharge, get back to life, and get back at it on Monday. Okay, but hey, thanks for taking the time out of your day. Hey, it's a Friday, and you took the time out of your day to join me here on Coffee Hour. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time to do that. We have a great show today. Today, we're going to look at basic electrical math, and if we have enough time, we'll get into some voltage drops. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on basic math. We're just going to cover it quickly, and then look at some voltage drop, and then answer your questions that you may have. I did see a message in there from Trey. Don't worry, Trey. I was trying to convey, but no, don't worry. I get you. It's all good, my friend. Let's see here. Let's do some good mornings here. Say hello to everybody real quick. As I always say, folks, I live vicariously through y'all. So do me a favor. Let me know who you are, where you're from, if you're in the Fast Tracks program or not. If you anything that's happening in your life that you want to talk about, that you want to share with us, please let us know. We'd love to chat with you on it. As always, get in on the win, get in on the spin, do the hashtag, and you can get in on that. We appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's do some good mornings here. Tino. Good morning, Tino. Welcome. Thanks for joining us as always. Cray Cray's in the house. Thanks for joining us. Welcome glad to have you here. Paul is in the house. Good morning. And he wishes everybody a good morning. Again, Paul's also helping set the tone here. Hashtag win, so you can get in on today's spin. Casper's in the house. Casper, welcome from East Tennessee. Let's see here. I get you, Trey. The question is, we had a conversation yesterday, Trey. I wasn't trying to snap at you, Trey. I was just trying to, I got to make broad statements for people because yours is not the only one that I get from that. And you didn't, but there's other people that do. And so it was just a broad statement. But I think you'll be okay. The principles of navigation and all are pretty much the same. Like I said, there'll be some issues where the code references are slightly different, but you should be okay. Let's see here. Van Man, what's up? Good morning. Sarasota, Florida, sunny. Okay. Adam from Portland, Oregon. Fellow electricians up there, shouting out in the house. Christopher, thanks for joining. All our regulars are chimed in. What Tito says, he's lightening up on us today. He's got some iced coffee this morning. Okay. All right. Taking the lighter path. There you go. Good morning. Nepo says good morning to everybody, all the Spark heads out there. Trenton's in the house. I see you, John, with that hashtag win. Thanks for joining me. David, I see you. Good morning down here. Coming to us over from YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Angel's in the house. Thank you, Angel. We're also over on YouTube. I'm doing good, my friend. I am blessed. I went out and had dinner with my brothers last night. That's one of the perks of being back here in Virginia is that I get to see family. And that was one of the big motivating factors. Y'all all know the story of my wife in her early stages of Alzheimer's. But for me, it was also getting back to the family and moving back and everything back. And it was a headache to do. All of the stuff that we had to get done. The easiest part of the whole move back to Virginia, the easiest part was, believe it or not, was the corporation stuff. Because I hired a private company to do all of that stuff and do all the paperwork and dissolve the Texas corporation and do the Virginia corporation. I just paid a company to do it. It was cheap. In my mind, it was cheap. It was only like believe it or not, for a corporation move and all the documents, it was like $1,800. To not have to do that and just focus on the move and get the equipment here and get everything here, priceless. I would have paid that over and over again. Okay, so anyway, everybody throwing in that hashtag win. Y'all have learned to get in on that pretty quickly. That's cool. Regulars there. Edgar, thanks. Jonathan's in the house. Thank you. Let's see here. We got Rob. Rob, and I don't know if I replied to you or not, Rob. I think I replied that I don't have a problem with sharing with your coworker on that thing that you probably emailed about if that was you. I don't have a problem with that. Red Dog, good morning. Happy Friday. California, still going for that JW. Keep pushing. You'll get it. You'll get it. Cray, what's up? Crypto, welcome. Good morning. Dan's in the house. Good morning. See some people throwing in the hashtag win. Jay, good morning. Glad to have you here. Love the cat. I'm a cat lover. Don't have a cat anymore. All my cats have passed away. I've had tons of them through the years. All I have is 3 dogs now. I want to get another cat, but with the taking care of the wife and all this kind of stuff, it just, even though cats are pretty self-sufficient, at some point I may get another cat. Let's see. You never know. Let's see. Freddie, what's up? Good morning from Connecticut. Prepping for your second residential, is that residential lineman or residential journeyman or Rhode Island? I'm so confused. I get confused. Sorry about that. What's up, Trey? Fast Track Enhanced. Good morning, Nebraska. Angel, seeing some new names in here coming over from Facebook. All right, so at least we know we're streaming in Facebook. There we go. Zeker, good morning. Glad to have you here. Hopefully all you have your coffee or whatever beverage you're having this morning. There you go. Yeah, you're in the lift again, dude. You're always in that lift, but that means you're working and it means you're hustling, and that's what I like to see. That is what I like to see. Kendra, good morning. Let's see here, we've got our guy on Facebook is on. There you go. Good morning from Wyoming. Manny's in the house. We're gonna have to get you another picture with a different hoodie. Okay, we're gonna have to get you a hoodie with Chief Hog on it or something. We got to do something about it. We got to get a picture of you out of that hoodie. Change that hoodie. It's a definitely. Right? You're most welcome, Trey. Most welcome. Let's see here. Yeah, and folks, anything I say, please never take it as offensive. I say things because I have to cover a lot of span, a lot of quickly. We have a lot of students. At this point, we have over 10,000 students in and out of our courses. It's a lot. And so I answer hundreds and hundreds of emails. And as you see, I rattle off stuff, trying to be, the best I can in giving you information. Please never let anything I say offend you. It's just me, usually just blunt, trying to get it out because I'm a believer. Same way I create Trade Hog. And I got interesting news about Trade Hog because y'all were here for yesterday. I like things to be concise. Even though I ramble on in my repetitive motion when I teach, I am kind of complex in a sense that when I'm giving answers to certain things or responses that are non-technical, I like to give concise information. But then when it comes to technical stuff, obviously I ramble. So I can't help it. It's just how I am. Let's see here. What's up, Frank? It's Friday. Beatbox Friday. No! God, look what you started, Paul. Now I got Frank hitting me on my beatbox. All right. Charlie, good morning. Hope the baby's doing good and the mama's okay. Everything's good. And Adams, feed Jeff the hog. Don't feed Jeff. Well, I don't know. I guess that'd be okay. Jeff likes to barbecue. And I used to like to barbecue. Before I moved from Texas there, I had what's called I don't know if you have ever heard of RecTech. I had a RecTech smoker, and I loved cooking, smoking barbecue and doing all that kind of stuff, man. So anyway, I don't know if I'll get back to that or not. Let's see. Nick, thank you for joining us. Hashtag wins everywhere. James joining us. Love it. Early. We have the numbers are climbing. That means y'all are sharing it. Y'all are clicking the screen, letting everybody know, do the likes, do everything. Let's get as many electricians as we can get on here every day. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. Terrence, good morning. Welcome. Look at that. Tino's out there trying to get people a raise. Look at that. We're talking about the man on the lift. I guarantee you, give that man a raise. He deserves it. What's up? There's my New Jersey following. 42 degrees. It is 43 here, so we're probably in the same plane. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yes, I'm going to order a new nerdy hoodie. There you go. There you go. I like the code nerd stuff. I just, the thought of it is when we came up with it, it was just the thought of the code nerd, the logo. We thought it was cool. And a lot of people order those things. Let's see here. Grace-filled life. Absolutely. Texas. There you go. Beautiful Texas. Okay. There is things I miss most definitely about being back here in Virginia than I do in Texas. Oh, news. We did sell our house. I don't know if I told you all that, but we did sell our house. In fact, it closes in about a week. So a little over a week. So excited about that. And, that kind of gets rid of all of our last things that we had in Texas. Still work for Encore Wire and Prismium in Texas. I'm remote. That's why I do this show at 8, because I'm on their central time. So that type of thing. But anyway, yeah. All right. Well, keep letting us know where you're at, where you're from. I'll keep popping it into the chat as we go. We're going to get into some basic math today and see how much we can cover. And again, don't forget to do #win so you can get in on a spin. All right, let's go to the lesson today. And again, your comments will be down here. And let's see here. Let's see. Also, we got Richard. Good morning. It's Richard from Orange County, California. Bass Track student. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. It's not just fast track, but it is bass tracks. That's what I'm talking about. And everybody knows I'm a bass fisherman, and I love it. Oh, by the way, right down the road here is Lake Anna. You can Google that on the map, and you'll kind of see where we're at. Lake Anna, right down the road, about 20 miles from me. Going to be doing some serious bass fishing, and I got to take my wife fishing. It's important for me that while she can still remember it and still enjoy it, I got to get her out on the lake. Let's see here. I've been putting your streams on when I teach in class. That is awesome. A lot of apprenticeships subscribing to your channel and study tool. Awesome, James. I appreciate it. Training, educating the next generation. That is what it's all about. So, Dominique, thank you as well. Okay. Thank you for joining me over on the YouTube channel. All right. Something is bothering me, folks, real quickly. I have to fix this. It is bothering the crap out of me. Okay. Sorry about that. It's driving me crazy if I didn't fix that. All right. So let's look at some basic math. Let's see. Oh, Jonathan lives in the smallmouth capital. Well, I lived in when I lived in McKinney, Texas, and we were real close to Lake Fork. We used to tell people I live in the state with the biggest bass was caught in Lake Fork. And we had a place, y'all remember probably in other videos, where I had a place that sits right on Lake Fork, that type of thing. So it was pretty cool. Well, we had a camper in a little lot that was with the decking and all overlooked the lake. Oh man, we used to go on weekends. We loved it. All right, let's just do some basic math. This is stuff that you probably already know. Guys, feel free to let things in the comment, and I'm more than happy to share those things on the screen. Good morning, Yanni and Nikki. Good morning. Thank you. What does this say here? Seen a bumper sticker that says, I support my local hookers. There you go. Absolutely. All right, so let's look at some basic math here real quick. So, couple things to remember is you don't freak out when you get ready for exam or if you're just working some things. And again, remember, this is a little older. I don't know if y'all remember last week, I said a hard time finding this PowerPoint, so I just kind of went with it. I'll make notes if I need to change anything, but it's just good coffee hour, relax. Again, in the chat, you see it on the screen. Let me know what you think, what you feel, what's going on in your life. I love to share it. That's what it's all about here at Coffee Hour. And it's Friday, so we're kind of winding down. We did some real intense studying the first of the week. If you didn't catch it, we did optional method. Okay, so again, just kind of winding down, chilling out here. What's up, Alex? I see you in there. Thanks for coming. All right. So in most cases, it'll be necessary to always carry out calculations to only 2 or 3 spaces behind the decimal point. So if you're doing a math calculation in electrical, then you actually can, and it's a really long, you can work it down to 2 or 3 positions, okay, behind the decimal point for all of our calculations for what we do as well as what you do at an exam. Okay, you're not going to have to worry about going all the way to the 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th number. Just you can round it down. All right. Now, in today's lessons, we'll carry out everything out to the 4th or 3rd decimal point for clarity. But I just want you to, Red, say, what's the trick to catching them bass? A lot of beer and patience. Yeah, that's it. A lot of beer and patience and somebody else to drive the boat when you've had too much. Right, that type of thing. All right. No, let's see here. Numbers will be rounded off. For example, as we see in 220.5 of the NEC, is the same example here. 0.5 and above will be rounded up. 0.4 will be rounded down. So that's just typical common electrical math. For example, here you see 0.817. All right, so 0.8, this is just going to be rounded to 0.82. Makes sense? And if you have 15.72, see that too? This is an example where it'd be acceptable to just do it at 15.7, right? You can just drop the 2. Not necessary, okay? Now, in the scheme of life, is it probably these decimals out? Are they going to, what's up, Ray? Thanks for joining us. Is that going to change the scope of the overall calculation? Probably not, but these are just basic math things that you want to remember and do. So let's kind of work an example. This may or may not be accurate. Okay, keep me on my game. All right. So for example, here would be some example over here, 0.491 times 0.300. Okay, this is a example of how we would work this out. And this just shows you how everything carries. Okay, all right, 0, 0. Okay, 4, 5. Here we go. 4 times 3. Right. Everything. So this is just examples of how we would carry things out. All right. Now you can work these out. Now here's the deal I do realize with people is that when I started doing this basic math stuff, I started realizing that at the end of the day, you got a freaking calculator. All right. So that's why I learned to, when we're going over math, just to go over the basics of math. Only because I realized that you clearly have a freaking calculator. And it took my wife years ago to say, why are you doing all that when you know you got a freaking calculator? I get it, right? All right, so anyway, basic math, as you see, when you're doing addition, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, right? 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, they carried the 1. That's when you get the 14, then you carry the 1 again, yada, yada, yada. So that's why I said I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of time on the basic math because you all have a freaking calculator, okay? But just to show you kind of the roughness of how the math works, okay? Now, what is important that I want to point out is making sure that you always carry on in your math. If you're going to do long math, that you remember that you want to carry out your decimal points. I think that is one of the things that will screw people. Like in this one right here, if you get an example right here where it gives you one number like this, and then they give you another number that's got the decimal after it, when you align them up, align the decimals, and then add zeros accordingly to match what's after the decimal. Okay, that's just only one little thing that I can tell you that tends to throw people. Just as these are the things that I choose to tell you about, because that's when you're aligning it. If you're going to do that kind of math, just make sure you align things up, right? That type of thing. Now, this case right here, you have 13,250 divided by 115. So again, take that number, divide it into the 13,225. Again, you're bringing it. First thing I do is the 115 goes into 132 one time. That's where the 1 goes up here, right? And then you take the 132 and subtract the 115 from it. That gives you the 17. You drop the 2. 115 goes into this 172 one time. Okay? Yeah, that type of thing. So you do the 115 again. You subtract the difference between that. That's 57. Then the other 5 drops back down. You do the 115 again into this. That goes 5 times. Boom. That's how you do it. So this is just long math. I get it today. You got calculators and you don't need to do this. But you know what? If you're stuck out in the field and all you got is the old outhouse and a roll of toilet paper and a crayon, then you know what? You can. Thank you. Appreciate it, Paul. Excellent. I love it. People are checking it out because again, I do so much stuff. I found myself watching TV this morning. This funny little thing. I found myself watching TV this morning. And I watched this on news, and it's no surprise you folks know I watch Newsmax. Okay, so I can hear you now. But And I'm watching it, and I'm looking at all of the things. They're talking about Tesla, and then they're talking about SpaceX and the new heavy lift, and then they're talking about this Doge and all that. Forget all politics. The only thing that I could think of in my mind was, how the hell does Elon Musk do all this? I know he's got good people, and that's what I used to say all the time, is say, how can you do all these things? And I have people that contact me and say, Paul, how can you create this, working on Hog, working on this, doing videos, doing training, working for Encore and Prismia. And I can't explain it. It just all seems to work, right? I am very big on booking my time. I'm very big on keeping a schedule on my phone of my hour, where I can be. Darlene helps me. Jeff helps me. Everybody keeps me busy. I can only imagine Elon has to do the same thing, right? Hey, Beto, what's up? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Val, I see you in there. So I'm always, just imagine the time consumption that this guy has. And he's constantly beat up in the media. But just think about those type of things, And as much as whether you love or hate the guy, look at what this SpaceX thing is amazing to me. Just what it can do. Just incredible. Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to go there on that, but I'm just saying, just a crazy stuff. Okay, now, other things to worry about. On exams or in the real life, you're going to get into stuff. What's up, Alberto? Thanks for joining. You're going to be saying, well, how do I work with fractions? What's the best way to work with fractions on exam if I get fractions? Okay. Well, the top number, which is the numerator, is divided into the bottom number, which is the denominator, okay? Gives you your decimal equivalent. And you always want to work it in the decimal equivalent, especially if they give you some kind of question. You're like, okay, how do I work these things out? Okay, so if you get something funky like a 5 and 30 seconds minus 1 and 1/16, then you say, how do I even work that freaking thing? Well, you work it out into decimals. So this is just a reminder, a refresher for most of you. You take the numerator and you divide it into the denominator. And that gives you a decimant. Hold on, I got something for that. Hold on. That gives you a decibel value, okay? Decimal. Did I say decibel? Shit. Adam? We need some more coffee, buddy. The brain ain't started. Mouth's talking before the brain registers. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so you see on the left over here, this is just some examples. So you can do all this by taking that numerator and dividing it into the denominator. And that's a quick way to remember. If you get into a bind and you see fractions and you're concerned about fractions, just in your head, you're like, okay, stop. Turn it in, get it into a decibel. Now, there's certain things you see, you guys know. You got a half, you know that's 0.5, right? You see a quarter, you know that's 0.25. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you might get some funky off type fractions and you're thinking, well, dude, I got to convert these things. But you do. You need to convert them down so that you can be able to do the math, okay? All right, here's some examples on the screen. 1/3 plus 3/8 is actually 0.333 plus, and then this is 0.375 because the 1/3 is 0.375. Just divide 1 into the 3. Okay, so just some quick tip math. If you get in a bind and you get something that has a number and it multiplies it or does something, add, subtract, against something that is a fraction, now you know, get that thing converted into decimals, Jesus, decimals, so that you can actually do the math and work the math out, okay? All these calculations out here on the screen. All right, percentages. You're going to get exam prep questions. You're going to get real questions that deal with percentages. And so, again, you see something that's in percentages. It's just a matter of moving or adding a decimal. Okay, so you get something on an exam that gives you percentages. It says 25%, and you're trying to do the math on it. And you're like, okay, well, I'd say, okay, well, simply move the decimal point 2 places to the left and drop the percentage, right? So 25% starts on the right, move it 2 points to the left, it's 0.25. Same thing for 80%, start from the right, move it 2 points to the left, it's 80%. Same thing for 125%, start from the right, move it 2 points to the left, it's 1.25. Same thing for 250%. This can be helpful in an exam, especially if you first get this jolt of when they ask you a question, they give you a value, and then they want to know a percentage or something like that. And you might know the math process for this, but you might for one split second, and time is valuable on exams, right? That you might just have a freak out moment, and you just want to make sure get that thing to a decimal so you can start working it as a decimal value into your calculation. Okay. Let's see here. Working with percentages to decimals, and then working from decimals to percentage. Exactly the same thing here. Move the decimal 2 places to the right, and then just add the percentage. So move to the right, 25%. Move to the right, 2 places, 80. Move to the right, 125. Move to the right, 250. Okay, just reverse the process. And there you go. Adam's like, he's like, hell yeah, bring that coffee. Sometimes I need it. All right. Now, on an exam, you're liable to get 1 or 2 questions. Hey, for all you out there that say, hey, I failed it by 1 question, this might help you, because there are these type of questions on exams, right? And so this one says, okay, well, working percentages increase. So I might get a question on an exam that says increase 25 by 10%. Right? It's like, well, how do I work this? Well, first thing I always do is convert this into a decimal. So convert 10% into a decimal. What do we start right here? Move it 2 to the left. It's 0.10. Then I just do what? Multiply 25 times 0.10 is 2.5. So add the 2.5 to the 25. That is increased by 10%. So that's the total value is 27.5. Okay. So that's just working the math to do that. Same thing for decrease. If I ask on an exam question any value and it says decrease it by a certain percentage, in this case 10%. Okay, get that into a decimal. Move it to from the right. Move 2 places to the left. 0.10. Then multiply 25 times 0.10. That's 2.5. Then subtract 2.5 from 25. That's 22.5. Okay. Working with squares. Okay, so the square of a number is the number multiplied by itself. Okay, so if I have something that says 3 squared, it's just 3 times 3. 12 squared, 12 times 12. 116 squared, 116 times 116. Remember, 3 squared is not 3 times 2. I'm sure y'all get that. But hey, in a pinch, in an exam, something like that, you could lose a step and forget something as simple. We've all done it. Hell, I'm mispronouncing decimal and decibel this morning. So, hell, anything's possible. Shit, I got a master's and 2 bachelors, and I can't even pronounce decimal. Hell, education means squat. Told you, total waste of my money. Anyway, not y'all's money. If you spent money on schooling, that's great. I'm just telling you, from my case, I just got drunk, and anyway. All right, so working with square roots. When you're working with square roots, look for the number that when multiplied by itself would match the original number under the square root sign. For example, if I have square root 9, then 3 times 3 is going to be 9. So look for the number that if, again, multiplied by itself would give you the number. For example, 100, then 10 times 10 would be 100. But let's be real, just use the square root key on your calculator. I mean, nobody in the world today is going to be dealing with square roots and going to be doing, I'm going to use old trusted Mr. Casio for that, right? Ain't no way I'm going to be doing anything. So Mr. Casio is actually, my Casio is pretty damn complicated. My little Casio's got all this scientific calculator. So, and you do it, you have to hit the freaking shift key. You just got to remember to hit the shift key. So when I do, for example, 9, right? When I do 9, I got to hit shift and then the square root. Then it gives me 3. But it's simple. And you should have a calculator like this when you go into an exam. Quick tip. I recommend, and y'all know I've had Mr. Casio for quite a few years. This is a solar powered. And it does have a battery internally, but it doesn't have it so you have to remove the screws to get the little slide 2032 or whatever it was. I always recommend if you're going to test, I have one that has solar and it has a battery backup if you can find it. If you can't, battery's fine. Make sure they're fresh. It'll easily get you through it. Solar, hit and miss because I've been in some test centers and I've heard from some students that believe it or not, the test centers are so freaking dark that they worry that whether or not the damn calculator is even going to work. So I wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't want to risk it at the last minute. So that type of thing. All right. Next basic math, working with parentheses. Always solve the parentheses first. It's kind of like this golden rule of order. Always work the parentheses first, okay? So if you look at this way, example, 5 times 6, parentheses, plus 9 minus 3, parentheses, actually work what's in parentheses first, okay? So it's really 5 times 6, and we'll do the math. We already know what that is. 5 times 6 is 30. And plus 9 minus 3 is 6, so 30 plus 6, right? Okay, there you go. There you go, Jonathan. There you go, Jonathan. Was that a solar calculator? Did it go out, or was it a battery one that went out? Or did you have a solar one and it just kaput during the test? That type of thing. That would suck. Now, I don't know if test centers will give you a calculator. Some may. I think it would be from test center to test center. How that would work, maybe, but man, that really would suck. That talk about freak you out. Now, I do know that some test systems have a built-in calculator, but it's not going to be, obviously, it's going to be very basic, that type of thing. Maybe into the software or something like that. But anyway. All right, so another example of this would be probably more probable for what you would get on an exam if they gave you something. As you see all this and people wonder, where the hell do I start? Well, you start in here, okay? So you do 1.5 times 8, solve that first, then you solve the long question, okay? Oh, let's see, what did Jonathan say here? It says, it was a solar, was lit up and tried to get working. They noticed and bought me one. That is awesome. Hey, they helped you out. There you go. You know what? You're liable to get in some states, you're liable to get some testing agencies that are real. They came in with having a bad day and they're like, sucks to be you. That would suck. I'd be pissed off. But anyway, always be prepared. Let's think about a solar with a battery backup, or I'd rather you go in with a battery that's fresh. Okay. If you're going to do one, now I always say it's great to own a nice little calculator. So I've had this Casio for many years. It had problems one time. I don't know if y'all remember on a show, I had trouble with it, and it's because I had poor lighting in here. Studio lights are fine now, but I had to replace the battery. And then everything was good. Okay. All right. There you go. Now, watch out for these expressions. All right. So here's stuff that you see from time to time is 2, 4, and 6. Just remember, this is the same as 2 times 4 times 6. So this can throw people when they see this. Make sure it's in a calculation format. It's just not showing you like note items. Okay. So it should be in the form of a calculation. And then again, another example of that with like when we do voltage drop calculations, you might see the formula expressed like I times R, right? Current and resistance. Or you might see 2KLI, which is the typical formula for single phase voltage drop. And basically that equates to 2 times K times L times I. Okay, pretty basic stuff, but just remember it. Do I remember those Texas Instruments calculators? Oh, the heck yes, I do. I absolutely used to have a TI. All right. So let's see here, everybody. Let's see here. Let's see if everybody, if you have a calculator, it's obviously going to not need to work the math. But now you work the math. Look at this one on the screen. I've got the little lines on here because I didn't want to get rid of them. Too lazy for that. Now, if I have a calculator, then this is going to be easy, right? And I think to save us all time, because I just don't think we're going to work the math anymore. I think that we're at an age today where I don't even know if they're teaching in school the actual arithmetic to go through the math. I think they're teaching some funky math in school now. There you go, Paul. He's got it. I don't even know they're teaching the long form yet anymore. There is the answer, and there is it. Now, what we had to do here that is unique is this. See how we did this? So the importance of this one is to show you if you did it, what we had to do with this. Okay, so you have to move that decimal, okay, all the way to the right, 4 spaces. Okay. Oh, move it to the right. Okay. So there we go. And also to make it a point, you had to move it 2 spaces for the 1875 to the right. You also do exactly the same for the 4500. You move it 2 spaces to the right. So that's how it got this long number right here. Okay. What's good for the goose has got to be good for the gander. Of course, you're going to use a calculator. I know you're not going to do this. All right. Another example right here. So you get one on an exam, 230 by 230 divided by 10.58. Okay. You know daggone well you're going to be using a calculator. So if I'm doing a calculator, 58. Okay. You're thinking, okay, doing the math. I don't have any music. Actually, I could do the music for you if you want to do it. Yeah, it's hard for many people, and I think it is the fact that we have a calculator. Paul's got it. Paul's nailing that math. Now that we use calculators, again, it's kind of one of those things that I think that's enough of that. I think people are also worried that Chat GTP and TradeHog and all these type of things are also going to make us dumber because we're going to lose the method of how we used to do things. I disagree. I think that's just that boat has sailed. It's nice to know we can refresh it, but in reality, I think the generation is just past now. With technology is always there, whether it's on your phone. I mean, I know people say, "Well, it's always good to know." I get it, and I know it when we're teaching it. But maybe teachers are the only ones that know it. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got so much technology around us. It doesn't mean we're dumb. It just means we're consolidating our knowledge to something else. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there's your answer. And again, you see how we had to convert the steps for those to do that. It's the same as before. We got to move those decimals, and you got everything else right here. So all we did was consolidate the multiplication portion to isolate it from the division portion. So we did 230 by 230 is 52,900, that type of thing. And then we can work the full equation, move it 2 spaces to the right as we did. And same thing has to be done for the 5290, as you can see down here. And then we can work it out, work out the whole equation. And we just move everything down. Okay, so in this case, this goes into this 5 times. So it's 0, and you bring down the zeros. So that's how you get 5,000. Again, I do not think anybody's going to work this math. Key takeaways from here: solve the multiplication first, leave the division as a separate integer, and then turn around and make sure you convert this by moving it to the right to get it to a full value. And then you're going to have to do the same for the actual value here. Going to give me 2 more zeros, and then work that into the equation. Or use a calculator. All right. Ohm's law. Let's talk a little bit about Ohm's, just some Ohm's law, some different stuff that to kind of get you freshed up. Check my math here because I did use this for a class not too long ago, I think. So we have a 4 copper AWG TW conductor is good for how many kW at 120 volts? Okay. So how many kW is it good for? All right. So it's a 4 copper TW. Okay. How many? So to solve this using, we have an Ohm's wheel. It's hard for you to see it, right? Okay, this scenario here. So you basically want to know what's the kW. How do we solve it? It's 120 volts. So what are we solving for? We want to know what the wattage is. Okay, hold on for a second. I'm getting ready to lose my stream over here on TikTok. There we go. All right, so we're solving. So what do we need to solve this? Well, in an exam, they're pretty much going to probably give you, in Texas, they give you the Ohm's wheel. I don't know if it's extensive as our Ohm's wheel. Also, that Ohm's wheel is available on shirts and stuff if you like the little dude that we used to use. But I think he's available. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Jeff handles out. I'll see whether it's up there if anybody's interested in the old vintage wheels that we have. Nepo says A. It's 8.4. Okay, so the first thing we have to realize here is what are we solving for? We're solving for kW, okay, or we're solving for watts. Okay, so if you look at your Ohm's wheel, and it's even hard for me to see it, then we have to work with what we have, what we know. We know the voltage, right? We know it's a 120. We do not know the amps, but we do know that it's a 4-gauge AWG TW. Now, TW is going to put us where? Where is it going to put us? It's going to put us in the 60-degree column. So just for craps and giggles, we're going to go here and work this out because I want to make sure everybody knows how to work stuff out. And I'm going to go down to 310/16. And I'm going to pop this sucker on the screen. I'm going to pin it. All right, and so it's a 4-gauge TW. TW is right here. And it's a 4-gauge right here, so it's 70. All right, so if we do, hold on here. My vision is terrible. Hold on for here. Hold on here. 20. Okay. We do this, so we look at this here, we say, okay, so we know what we've got here. So we know that we got, it's good for 70 amps, right? And we know it's 120, right? So we go here, we're trying to find kilowatts, okay? So let's see here. Let me do my glasses here where I can see this. I didn't realize it'd be so hard for me to see my stuff with my glasses on. Okay, so we follow the rules. So we're going to use this one because now we know that it's 70 amps. Let me go back here. I forget I'm not on the right screen. Okay, so now we're going to use this formula right here, which is E times I, because we know what the E is. And now we know what the I is, right? Or amps. So we can do E, which is 120, times I, which is 70. And it is 8,400. But the question asked us right here. Okay, what are the steps? We went and saw it. Now this is old, so 310/15B16 for all you 2017 folks, but this is now 310/16. That shows you I have not updated that. And it's good for 70 amps. So we did the math, 8,400. So people would say, how many of you here, let me get a yay or yes if you think the answer is D. And let me get for those that think the answer is A. So let's see here. Just give me an A or D right here in the chat from you folks. Just real quick, get you, take a break. Not you, Adam. I know you're driving. But you know what? Okay. Nepo says D. Okay. Nepo says D. All right. Let's see. What do you guys think? David says 8.4. Just give me an A or D. Okay. Definitely. I love when people are A. I'm getting all the A's in here. Okay. All right. Looks like I got A's pumping up on the screen. Okay. Let me know, guys. There we go. There's some A's. Paul's throwing up the A. Van's throwing up the A. Alex is throwing up the A. All right. Okay. So, absolutely right, because the question wanted to know what it was in kW, not in watts, but in kW. So we had to convert that 8,400, okay, into kW. Basically, y'all know K kilo, so 8,400 would be 8.4. So you know the answer would be A. Okay, so you might get a simple question like that, but in the Texas exam, believe it or not, guys, this is actually, Charlie says E. In a Texas exam, like it says this is like a 2-part calculation. So this is what you would see over on the calculation portion, right? Because you had to first go hunt down and find the 70 amps in order to do one stage of math. So you still had to go unless you just knew the number. Okay, so you still had to do the math. I mean, you had to go hunt it down to do that. Okay. All right. Next one here. Question for you. What is the current draw of an incandescent lamp that has a rating of 100 watts at 115 volts? The lamp is connected, and obviously I spelled connected wrong. Wow. Paul needs to hire a proofer. Because this slide's been around for a while and Paul still hadn't fixed it. So it says, if the current draw at the incandescent has a rating of 100 watts, And at 115 volts, the lamp is connected to a source voltage of 115 volts. Okay, what's the steps here? Step one, we have to select the correct formula from this wheel. Okay, or you just have to know the correct formula. Number two, we know that watts, and we know the watts, 100 watts, right? And we know what the voltage is, 115 volts. So we know these two things. So all that we're doing is trying to solve the current. Okay, so if we're in this wheel and we're trying to solve for amps right here, we have to go with what we know. Okay, we know what the power is, and which is the watts, and we know what the voltage is. Okay, pretty simple, right? What red? I don't have any red background. I'm sorry. I didn't see the red background. No, I don't see any red background. Anyway, okay, so the volts, 3. So we chose the one we want, P, right? Divided by, oh, you're talking about the background is orange. Yep, sorry about that. All right, so this is an old slide, so I'm not getting too late to change it now, my friend. All right, so 100 divided by 115 is 0.86956. And I said to you, we would keep it down to 4, but you could go lower than that. You could do this at 0.87, okay, and be accurate. I could be 0.87 right there. It would be accurate. But again, I like to get it down so that we know. So we're going to do it down to 3 or 4. We just choose to go to 4 to this. So this is your answer for that one. That is the value, okay? That's the current draw, right? All right. Okay. So how much power is being consumed by a 120 volt circuit that draws 10 amps? Okay. Again, they're going to give you hopefully. Oh, by the way, if you're in an exam and you're in a state that lets you write in your code book, you have a front of your code book. You have some code panel member pages in the very front of your book that have a lot of open space. I encourage you to put your ohms wheel there. Maybe you can get them in a sticker. We used to give away stickers with this. Maybe I'll bring that back. But you put your ohms wheel in your code book, or put it on the front cover of your code book. But if you're in a state that lets you do that, they probably won't say a word when you put that on there because it'll look like it's just part of your code book, that type of thing. But if you need the formula, in some states they give you the formula. Don't go in there and put it on there and then somebody comes up to you and say, hey, you can't do that. And you say, well, Paul told me I could, right? That type of thing. So this one, how much power is being consumed? Again, you have to choose the right formula to solve what you're looking for, wattage. So in here, we know the voltage and we know the amps, okay? So once we select the right formula, we know the amps, we know the volts. So we're going to be using E times I. And it's simple. 120 times 10 is 1,200 watts. Okay. And believe it or not, they might, on most of your exam, yeah, Tino says they give you that. Excellent. Texas, they give you the wheel. I don't know if it's detailed as wheel. It's got all the formulas, but they'll certainly give you enough formulas to be able to solve most of these equations. All right. Next, what is the resistance of an electric heater rated at 1,200 watts at 120 volts? Well, we're looking for the resistance, ohmatic value of resistance, okay? So we know what the wattage is, and we know what the volts are, right? So we got this one here, E squared. Remember what we said? E squared is basically 120 multiplied by itself, okay? And then you've got the power, which is 1,200 watts, okay? So we select the formula we want to use, okay? 1,200. Divided by 120 is 10. Okay. Now we know the current. Okay. So we could have solved this one in a couple different ways. I think we'll see here. We could have done it, but we could also solve. Oh, it's important. Sometimes you have to do a step to find something else to make a calculation a little easier. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need, say, look, dude, I need to know the current to be able to solve this, right? Then one of the things you can do is realize if they give you enough information to be able to find the current, then go on and find out and calculate to find the current, and then it opens up more usage for other formulas, okay? So sometimes you may need to even work that out to do that, okay? But let's see here, we'll see. So here to solve it is, so it's 10 amps, okay? Now that we know the current, we can solve the resistance. So E, we can use a simple formula of E divided by I, which is basically right here, this one, okay? And that is 12 ohms. Although I think we can do 120 times 120 equals 1440 divided by 1200. Okay, to do the same thing. So we could have not had to do that. We could have used another formula. We could have used the 120 times itself, which is 14,400, and divide that by the 120, and that would have also given us 12. So we have multiple ways. So the way I like this one is because it also helped us go on and find the current as well, right? So it might be some convoluted question that we need to ultimately know the current. And so we could have solved for the ohms, but maybe they wanted to know the current. And that's a step that we could have done to do the current, find the current first. All right. All right. So that's just some basic Ohm's law stuff using this wheel. This is a bigger picture of the wheel. I recommend you putting these formulas in your code book and learning them. Yeah, it might be 1 or 2 questions on an exam. It might be all it is, but it's important that you follow those, that type of thing. All right. It looks like I only have about 6 minutes to go, and I don't know that I can adequately cover voltage drop in as much as it's necessary in 6 minutes. So I'm going to choose to say voltage drop for Monday. We just did basic math, and we'll just start out and hit the ground running and do a voltage drop on a Monday morning. Get that out of the way because I want to do some spins and give some stuff away. Okay, so hey, we're in coffee hour for the long haul. Okay, y'all are in it for the long haul. So again, making it concise. This episode will be just about basic math, basic concepts, and that's a good one to watch to just kind of hammer home the basic concepts. Even though we know a calculator is going to do most of the work for us, just things that you might be good to have. Those that teach courses and vocational schools, just touch on it with the students. Let them know some of the functions, some of those little tips, and it may be beneficial for them. Biggest one that I can tell you from today is understanding how to take a fraction and make it a decimal so we can work it into the math. That's probably the biggest one of that scenario. All right, let's do some giveaways. Let's see here. Let's see. So everybody that's got hashtag win, give you a few seconds to do that. And then we will give you a spin. If you're not already in it, you see your name rolling on the screen. It won't roll everybody because I'm not going to wait for it to do that because we have over 45 people or so in here. So, but you see it scrolling there. If you don't see your name, that doesn't mean you're not in here. It just means it hadn't gotten to you. So let's go on and start a giveaway. Dude, I must have started right in the middle of that one there. All right, anyway. A tattoo? That's for life, bro. All right, my DC, Maryland, and Virginia, my brother from just up the road. We're going to meet one day, Terrence. We're going to meet, okay, our trade brethren, and he's right up the street, if you will, kind of figuratively, right up in DC and Maryland, right up next door to me now. All right, so let's spin the wheel and see what you get, my friend. See if we can get you some instant wins. You're most welcome, David. If you're over on Instagram, you should join us over on the other platforms, okay? All right, Terrence, you're in the drawing for the license plate. These are engraved license plates that we do. All right. Okay. All right. Good job. We will do the drawing on that around about March 31st, right around the corner now. That type of thing. One beatbox on Friday. Okay, I'll beatbox for you before I leave. Okay, before we end today, I promise I will beatbox. Okay, I'm out there laughing at me because this 50-some-year-old man beatboxing, but hey, I was back in the day. Okay, I could do it much better back then than I can now, dude. I can't even say decimal or decibel, and Paul wants me to beatbox. You realize that what that's probably going to cause the stress for me because I can't even get the words out today. I used to rap too, believe it or not. I know. Just saying. I used to break dance, head spins, windmills. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? But yeah. Once won a competition way back in the day, back when I was in middle school. I was a little more a little more flexible than I am today. I'd probably bust a hip or something. All right, so let's do this. Alberto V. All right, Alberto, let's see what you're getting, my friend. Spin it. What is that, David? I wish Nebraska had a master's license. We just do contractors, and it doesn't sound as good. Well, they don't make you do it. So the only difference with the contractor one probably is that they're going to ask you some laws and things like that. Some extra little things, probably just things like when his licenses expires, what's the fees, what's the penalties, all that kind of business stuff that you should know as being a business owner as a contractor. But yeah, there are a few states that just totally like Ohio is the same thing. They don't have a master's; they go straight from voluntary, an optional journeyman, straight into contractor's license. And they do ask electrical on their exam, but then they'll ask you other little things that you just have to get their publication and learn. Incidentally, I should mention this. Hold on, I'll get you Alberto here. We are starting to, Jeff is starting, we're not at that phase yet, but Jeff is starting to feed things into the hog that are local, different states, things like that. So if you have folks out there, I'll do a call out to you. If you have documents and stuff from different states or whatever, that's specific to your state, that's relevant and current, and you want to send it to us, just send it to info@tradehog.net, and Jeff will look it over and feed it into the hog. And it may be germane to your state specific, but it still helps the hog, and it still helps you in your state if you're a member of TradeHog. Okay, and I do want to announce something before we go today about TradeHog. So God, I got a beatbox, and I got to show you. I got to tell you something about hog that if you joined me yesterday, you're going to be amazed. Okay, and so bear with me. All right, sorry about that, Alberto. You're in the drawing, Alberto, for a minimalist wallet. They are freaking cool. I don't have mine on me, but they are awesome. You can get it in Master or Journeyman. You can get it in I Can't Fix Stupid. There's a couple other designs, but if you're selected on the drawing, then you'll see your name in an episode. You'll see that you want it, and we'll get hooked up, and you get to choose whatever design you want. Okay. If you win that. All right, let's spin it again real quick. Then I'll get my beatbox out of the way. Sorry. Very lightweight to do. All right. Terrence, great day. We're showing some serious love to Terrence up there in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So Terrence is the wheel is spoken, my friend. So go out and play that lottery ticket. Let's go. I know, 50-some-year-old man doing that. I'm sorry. I like to have fun, dude. Charlie says rigged. All right, 12 months of Fast Tracks Tube. I don't know if you have it or not, Terrence, but you got Fast Tracks Tube, 12 months of that. All you got to do is go to fasttrackstube.com, go to the top where it says members plans, click on it, and sign up for a free membership, and then we will be elevated. Okay. All right. Hey, we have fun here. All right. So let me talk about TradeHawk real quick. Let me just show you real quick. So let's go here real quick. I want to talk about TradeHawk really quickly. So remember yesterday we had some questions and it got us the right answers, but we had to follow up questions. We have fine-tuned the hog. Okay. So let me just show you, for example, if I can remember the question. I don't know if I even remember the questions from yesterday. Let's see here. What is the amount of free conductor outside of a box? I mean, I'm just to be generic. I mean, that wasn't the question. Let me make, okay, you got to be specific. Electrical box. Let's say electrical box. Electrical device box. That we got to be specific because I don't remember the exact same question. But anyway, what we did was we went through and I had Jeff refeed it and try to siphon it down. So look here, guys. Y'all remember yesterday? I was much more vague today. But here, according to the National Electrical Code 2023, the amount of conductor that must be extend outside the electrical device box is at least 3 inches. This requirement is specified in 300.14, which states at least 6 inches of free conductor must be available inside the box, and at least 3 inches must be extend outside of the box opening. This ensures a sufficient conductor length for making connections. Is that not amazing, guys? I mean, you know, it's grand math. Actually, y'all are going to find this funny, but my name back, you know, everybody has a name. I had my name, my shirt, my jacket and all that had a big picture of a mouth on it, you know, like the Rolling Stones with the lips, but it was a big mouth and it had under it the mouth because I could never shut up. But it was also because I beatboxed and all that stuff. So I was called Paul the Mouth. Yeah, that's going to come back to haunt me, but that's what it was. Okay. So anyway, you see how that goes? Let's see here. Let's see. What was the other question? What is the height of service drop conductors over a orchard? I think that was kind of close to the other one. So, I mean, it's just ask the hog. If you remember these questions from the other day, okay. No, I won't post a picture of the dude. That was 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, dude. All right, so here you go. The height required for service tractors over an orchard where the subject to truck traffic is 18 feet. And it gives the code reference. So if you folks that joined me yesterday, unless you got a question you want me to feed the hog, okay? So, you know, that type of thing. So I am more than happy to feed the hog. If you got any questions you want to ask the hog. But I think you guys can see it is the most amazing tool. I think it's the best value out there. $19.95 for a monthly subscription. You get everything that you would get with ChatGPT because that's the Office Hog. You get all of that, plus you get the fine-tuned and the one that we're working on, which is the TradeHawk, all for the same price. You can cancel it anytime. But I think you'll find that it's we all invest in our companies. We all invest in our businesses. And so that is a resource that I think that it's going to be amazing for folks. And it's going to make your life so much easier out in the field to ask it very technical questions, that type of thing. So check it out. You know, I have to show that people dropped off. You know, I'm just going to tell you that sponsoring this stuff and being able to do this every morning and things like this, you know, Trade Hogs is sponsoring it. That division that Jeff is heading up is sponsoring this in the morning show. So that means it's already working at a net loss. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be the greatest thing. Trade Hog is amazing. Embrace AI. Don't run from it. Embrace it. It's never going to take the place of you guys. You're never going to have AI going in and wire building. No, I'm not saying might not happen in a manufactured home where they can get robots to do certain things and prefab walls. Probably could do that today. Okay. I'm talking about stick building it, putting that house together out in the field, You guys, they're not in your lifetime or even my lifetime or your lifetime. Y'all, many of you are younger than me. You're never going to have to worry about that. You're never going to have to worry. You're going to always be able to feed your family if you learn a trade. Okay. So Logan might not be watching today, but the one thing about a trade is that if you learn to work with these, right? Okay. You learn to work with these, you learn to meld it with this, can take you places, can make you achieve your greatest dreams can come true. I'm just saying, there is no better profession. And that's not hyperbole. That's not me saying it to sell courses. We appreciate everybody that buys our courses. But at the end of the day, most people know that I started PaulAbernathy.com to answer questions for anybody that has to submit a question so that you can learn the National Electrical Code and learn to do it the right way. And that's important. Learning to do it the right way means a lot. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for today. We gave away some good stuff this morning. In fact, for those that are still even here, I am going to, let's see. So, Tino has a question here. Tino says, what is the size of ground for a 3/0 copper 150? Okay, let's try that one there. Let me copy that, Tino. All right, now, remember, crap in, crap out. So it's always one of those things that you got to make sure that you understand terminologies, right? So always start a fresh one here. All right, we're going to paste that in there. Okay, Tito, let me get rid of the name here. Say, when you say ground, okay, so really what you're asking is what is the grounding electrode conductor? And we could have done it in both ways. Let's see. So that's what you're here for 3/0 in this service. So let's just leave that right there and let's see what it says. Okay, determine the size of the ground electrical conductor for a 150 amp service using a 3/0 copper conductors. Refer to the National Electrical Code. It says, according to table 250.66, the size of the grounding electrical conductor is sized based on the size of the largest ungrounded service entrance conductor for a 3/0 AWG copper service entrance conductor. The table specifies that the minimum size for the grounding electrical conductor is 4 copper. Therefore, a 3/0 service at 150 amp residential service, the grounding electroconductor should be at least a 4. Okay, so we can go to the NEC and validate this. So let's go to 250.66 and see if the hog is right, and then we'll ask it your way and see if it was smart enough to distinguish, even using some slang. So let's first go here real quick. Y'all are with me? Make sure you're with me. Let me get rid of this. Remember, I found out how to do that again, folks. Y'all see that? Okay, so in this case, the question was, let's see, was a 3/0, right? That's what you told me in the question. So it would be a 3/0. So it goes here, copper, right there, a 4. You got it right. Now remember, in the real world, you didn't say you were using rods. You didn't say what type of electrode. So that's important for all of us to remember, right? That if you don't tell me it's a rod, pipe, or plate, if you don't tell me it's a UFRI, if you don't tell me it's a ring, where do you go? You go to the table. Hey, we turned that into a little exercise. That's what you do. So you get a question that just wants to know what the size of the ground is. That's where you go, okay? Now, Tito, good point here. Let's go and see what the hog says if you just ask it in the field. You just throw some sling at it. Let's see what it says. See what it does. Let me go back. I love doing this. So let's go back to the hog. Let's clear that out. Let's paste your question again. And let's leave it 100% how you ask it, Tito. All right? And see what she comes up with. Or he comes up with it. It's a guy. It's a hog. I'm just saying. Chief hogs, not female. Not identified challenged. You know what I'm saying? Look at here. Okay? They determine the size of the grounding electrode conductor. It did it itself. Tell me that ain't the smartest freaking thing you've ever seen. So it is able to take certain terminologies, and Jeff is working his butt off in the background. What's up, Swartzy? Swartzy's in the house. There you go. I didn't see you sneak in there, Swartz. Didn't see you make it in there. But anyway, guys, the hog is awesome. And it's getting smarter and smarter. And if you're the go-to person in your company and you're out there making serious decisions and you're the leader and you want to look like the smartest guy or gal in the world, don't let them know you have TradeHog in your back pocket. Oh, by the way, we have an app for that. Okay. Did I show you the app? I'll show you. I don't mind. So here's my phone. You can see I got the little happy face because I like to stay happy best I can. You download the app. Okay. And then when you download the app, it basically, where the hell is my screen? Okay. It puts the little hog on your screen. You see him right there. He's the one on the left. It says TradeHog on it. You click him and he opens up the hog. And there he is. Okay. Then you click his belly button and it opens up all of your options. Office Hog, TradeHog, message boards, even Ask Paul is there too. So you can even send a question directly through there. And there's a quick link to get you to Fast Track's Tube as well. See that? Pushed one button and it took you over to Fast Track. Look at that player. Dude, how many of y'all out there are loving Fast Track's Tube? Woo, look at that. We love that player. Anyway, that's your mobile app. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. All right, folks. Appreciate all of you. Remember, work smarter, not harder. Okay. All right. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you catch me on Monday. We will do voltage drop. We'll call it Voltage Drop Monday, and we'll talk about voltage drop. I've got about 20 slides that we'll go over and do some voltage drop. And, voltage drop's optional except for sensitive electronic equipment. It's optional except for fire pumps, but it's very prudent in your design. And by the way, if you're doing commercial buildings and your locality has adopted the International Energy Conservation Code, did you know that there's actually a mandate for not to exceed a 5% voltage drop on the branch and feeder on the whole service, whole leg to something from the service to the piece of equipment, you're not to exceed 5%. Did you know that's in the International Energy Conservation Code, which means if you adopted it in your state, it's enforceable. Now, whether they're enforcing it or not, it's still something you need to be aware of. Okay, so that's commercial. It's not a requirement in residential, but you know what? You never know. Don't say never, because I guarantee you that in 2029, there'll be a submission to introduce voltage drop. Ask me how I know. All right, folks. Till next time, stay safe. God bless, and have a great weekend. Love the family. Be blessed. My son is not a part of our family, but I still pray for him every day, and hopefully his life turns out what he expected it to be. Hug those that are close to you. We're going through the issue with my wife. I'm sure others are going through issues in your life. We'll get over it. We'll all get over it. We're blessed to be in this trade. We're blessed to wake up every day. If there's somebody you're arguing with that you hate, you just can't get along with, let it go, move on. I've got my people that I dislike in life, but you know what? I don't let them dwell in here. Let's move forward. Have a great, safe weekend. Hug those close to you, and we'll catch you on Monday. Peace out.